Kyle. Let's see. Why is this the main event? Oh boy. What's going on, Maurice? Josh Point 69. What's up, man? Biggest Durkus. Pretty sure I know who that is. Alright, how's everybody doing tonight? Okay, Anna Jay should not be kicking out of power moves. Come on. A match with Anna Jay should not have false finishes. If she gets kicked to the head, she should not be kicking out. Oh, boy. I will say one thing, though, that I think that AEW Women's title is, like, better looking than the current WWE Women's Championship. That's just my opinion. I just ate fried chicken before I got on the show, so bear with me. We got the Man of the Hour on.
Hey, man.
Yo.
What's going on?
Just watching the end of Dynamite, and just ate some fried chicken from Bill Miller's, so doing pretty good.
Nice.
What are you up to?
Always good.
Yes, sir. What are you up to tonight?
Well, I was watching Dynamite too as well, and just got done watching the main event, so.
Yeah, the main event was Shida and Anna Jay. That should be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, I mean, I have a reason why they probably had that match as the main event, but
well, no, it's been a week and a lot's been going on. Specifically, one story in particular, which we kind of have to cover it because it's. At this point, it's kind of already. I don't want to say a dead issue. It's still kind of an issue, judging by the main event and what you just said. So, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. But all right, chat's starting to pile up a little bit. It's already past 2. I think RJ might be showing up. That's a big might. So yeah, basically when he comes in, I'll just tag him. But and then news. I have some news. And did you bring any articles with you?
There's a lot of news topics coming out of SummerSlam. So yeah.
All right. So we got a nice little pack show. So, anyways, guys, we're here.
Also as well, I got a little game for you today too.
Ooh, I do like games.
So,
all right.
We'll do that after the news though. So
sweet. All right, guys, we are ready to start this shiznit in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? It is 9:03 p.m. Central Time here in lovely, very hot San Antonio. It's another episode of The Experience on Wednesdays. I'm your host, Drew, and with me, as always,
Justin from Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com.
Nice. How's the store going, brother?
Good, man. Good. This past weekend was a good weekend for the most part. My usuals come in. We had there was like a punk rock event. Mm-hmm. Then on Saturday there was like a K-pop event. So it was pretty cool, pretty normal. This weekend is a tax-free weekend, so yeah, so that's gonna be pretty cool too. So,
and of course, it's tax-free weekend when I'm broke. But it's gonna sound like a stupid question. So it's like tax-free weekend that applies to every store that's in the mall, correct?
I don't know. I don't know what other stores are doing, but I'm gonna be doing the tax-free. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice. So if you're in the San Antonio area, people, if you're listening, head on over to Spinebuster Tees on tax-free weekend and get some good shit. Get a Funko Pop, get an action figure, get a shirt, get a hat. Justin has you covered, people. Spinebuster Tees, people. Wonderland Mall of Americas. But absolutely, man. Like I mentioned on the pre, we had a nice little packed show. I believe RJ might be joining us. It's Big Might if he didn't fall asleep. He usually likes to be fashionably late. But we're going to talk about SummerSlam, of course, because it happened on Saturday. We're going to be talking about the Lufisto stuff and how it probably affected the main event of tonight's Dynamite. And then just a bunch of other shit, show reviews. We won't really delve too much into the shows, just like last time. We're just going to talk about the show as a whole. And then also, according to Justin, we have a little game at the end of the show. So, should be fun, people. Stick around. You might learn something today. But, let's start with the big news, SummerSlam. You want to start with SummerSlam or Lufisto?
I don't know. What does the chat want?
Chat, what do you think? SummerSlam or Lufisto?
What does the chat want? Let you guys pick.
It's overwhelming Lufisto. All right.
Lufisto. All right.
So last week, what was it? Thursday? Last Thursday when the story dropped.
I think it was Friday. Thursday or Friday, one or the other.
I'm starting. I'd like to think it was Thursday or Friday, but yeah,
it doesn't matter. But yeah, last week.
So I don't have the article in front of me, but pretty much everyone already knows the cat's out of the bag, according to who you talk to. So Lufisto, a wrestling vet in the Indies, she was on. Well, actually, first let me rewind the tape. So on Twitter, she basically talked about the story that broke at a AEW taping, where there was a sign that says, treat women's wrestling better, something to that effect, at a AEW show, during a match with Britt Baker and what the fuck's her name? Valkyrie, I'm sorry, Taya Valkyrie, and so she put out a tweet, kind of insinuating that, everything we've been hearing about the AEW women's locker room, preferably from, Britt Baker, is that it's run by Mean Girls Club. And she went on Sean Ross Sapp's show, Fightful, and just told a story about how whenever she was at a AEW taping, which was, Rampage or, Dark, or what was it?
I think, I don't know, it was one or the other.
And she was in a tag match. And she told a story about when she showed up, she was just given the cold shoulder by a lot of people except for Mercedes Martinez. Dirk is saying Dark. So, yeah, it was Dark. And, preferably, Dustin Rhodes, who was nice to her 1 minute and then turned around and just treated her like a piece of shit. He called her a French-Canadian asshole to her face. Ruby Soho just didn't even pay her any mind, not any attention. Tony Khan was apparently too busy to speak with her, which I don't really think too much of that because he's running a show. And then the other woman, the bunny, like, straight up said, "What are you doing here?" Other women, were telling her to her face, "What are you doing here?" So, she tells her story about the AEW women's division, the locker room as a whole. Of course, AEW, as you would expect them to, goes on the defense. Dustin Rhodes, had his own story saying, "I was just trying to help you, keep stepping." The very next day, when that podcast interview came out, names pretty much, the majority of everyone in the women's division came out and, of course, defended the women's division. MJF was the surprising one, because I wasn't expecting him to say anything. I guess because he's the champion, maybe he has to kind of feel like he has to say something, or he was told to say something. But, it was expected. And, Lufisto afterwards just got off social media. Which, smart, because social media is, no bueno. And then flash forward to tonight, the main event of Dynamite was Shida versus Anna Jay, which was a big part of a ongoing, I guess, a storyline or whatever for what's going to be the Women's Championship match at Wembley, which is supposed to be a fatal four-way, so they're having a tournament to see who the winner is, which is weird because the AEW Women's Champion had to compete in a tournament to be a part of the match. But that's neither here nor there. And then Toni Storm got a bye week for reasons. But yeah, backwards. Yeah, she won. I brought that up to Justin on the pre. He alluded to that maybe there was a reason. So, which I kind of agree with him, but overall, we've been hearing a lot coming out from the AEW locker room. Preferably, before that it was, everything involving Thunder Rosa and how, Britt's crew just went out of their way to treat her like shit. There was the screen, or was it just that screenshot of on the, was it the AEW Access show where Rosa announced that she had to give up the belt, and you cut to Brie. I was gonna say Brie Larson, Britt Baker, just making this face of like, yeah, fuck that bitch, and it's just like, oh, okay, so that's how you are. So, yeah, just this doesn't really do the, I'm gonna say alleged reputation of Britt Baker and the women's locker room any favors. Granted, I'm not going to say 100% believe Lufisto, but there's always, where there's smoke, there's fire. You haven't been hearing many good things coming back, or let me rewind that statement. You haven't really heard too many good things about, backstage in the women's division AEW. You never hear anything like that going on in the women's division in WWE. I'm not going to sit here and be the WWE dick sucker, but
it's not even that. It's not even WWE, but like any locker room, WWE or Impact Wrestling or like anywhere, like you don't hear that shit.
It's always AEW. It's always drama coming out of AEW. But I've already said my piece, Justin. What do you think about everything that's been happening in the past week?
I can care less.
Okay.
I can give two fucks about what's going on, but I'll elaborate just for the sake of the content here because I don't care. To me, Lufisto, look, there's two sides to both stories. Is there some truth that Lufisto, what she's saying could be possibly true? Possibly, yes, right? There is. Could there be some fabricated lies with this as well? Probably so, yes. There's two sides to the story, to both sides of the story, I should say. To me, this is the way I look at it, right? Lufisto, who's been in wrestling for 20 plus years, right? She never had a major job in WWE. She never had a major job in anywhere, really, right? I haven't really heard of her until before like the drama shit. The first time go around with this. So it's either you don't have the talent to be on that level, or maybe you're just a bitch to work with, right? You're difficult to work with. It could be one of those two things there, right? And there are some people in wrestling who have talent, you know what I mean? And just for reasons, you know, they're not higher than where they are right now, you know what I mean? Obviously, you know, recent names you can bring up is guys like Flip Gordon and, you know, guys like Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll's for a different reason, but you know, there's reasons why certain people they don't get further along in the business, you know what I mean? So, but also as well, on top of that, we know that there has been backstage drama with the women, especially, and what's been going on, you know, with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I've been told some things personally. I've been told some things about that situation with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker that I'm not going to say here, you know, on live stream. But trust me, I know people who are close to the situation. So, with that being said, however, though, like, is there issues with the AEW women's locker room? Yes, there is. This is one of the one thing I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that as soon as the Lufisto interview came out, then all of a sudden, you know, the AEW women's locker room, they set the tweet, right? It seems to me like these are like calculated attacks. Like, remember, like, what was it, like last year, right? Remember the situation with your favorite streamer of all time, your favorite guy, JD, right? He got fucking attacked, you know, with the whole situation with Britt Baker and Jade Cargill, right? So the locker room seems to have this mentality where it's like, you know, us versus everyone, right? And you know, I get that mentality, but at the same time as well, it's not healthy. It's a bully-like mentality. It makes it seem like, you know, if you say anything wrong or if you give any criticism or anything about a situation, it seems like you attack that person or those group of people. You know what I mean? And, you know, and AEW is supposed to be, you know, the safe space for pro wrestling, right? In some aspects, they are the thing that they say that they hate. Bullying in wrestling, right? Having a safe space for people in wrestling. And the fact that, you know, this is happening right now, you know, is kind of telling you what you need to know, for the most part, not always, but for the most part about the AEW women's locker room. But, you know, I digress. You know, to me, I think, like I said, I think there is two sides to this here. You know, all we don't know is what is the truth. We're just hearing it. He said, she said, you know, from Lufisto, right? And, you know, we're probably, I don't know if we're ever gonna get the full correct side of the story from, you know, from the ones, you know, who are close to that situation like Britt Baker, right? So, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, to me, it is an issue. It does need to be addressed, the overall vibe of the AEW women's locker room. But to me, like, this doesn't, like by this time next month, everyone's gonna forget about this, and it's not really gonna matter. So,
I kind of disagree with that, because it's just, again, I don't want to say every month, but just there's always something new coming up.
No, everyone's gonna forget about this particular situation, not the whole. Not the whole situation of the AEW women's locker room. Like, obviously that's an ongoing situation, and you know what I mean. And but to me, it's like, who are we to really judge or really talk and really go over this and speculate? Like, we have no control. We have no idea exactly what's going on in there. Like I said, I know some people who can tell me, but still, they're still not there either. You know what I mean? So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, it's just us talking about it and giving our opinion on it, and it's like, you know, is it really as bad as people are making it out to be? Which it could be, you know what I mean? I believe that there is a high chance of that happening. Or is it, you know, not as bad as people are making it out to be? You know what I mean? So, but again, we're not there. We don't know. We don't know the exact situation. So
we don't know. I mean, but like, you just look at everything that's kind of transpired in the past year and a half, I'll say. You look at Cody, who was the first like big defect, and that kind of started to that was kind of throwing, I guess, showing like cracks in the system. And
I'm talking about the AEW women's locker room. I'm not talking about anything else.
I'm talking about in general because
if we're talking about generalities, then okay, yeah, sure, let's just blow it out there then, right? Okay, AEW's locker room is an issue. Is that what people like to hear? AEW's locker room is an issue. It is, and it all comes down to the guy that's running it, Tony Khan. But what I'm trying to say is that is it an issue? Yeah, we can speculate and say yes, there are issues there, but we do not know exactly what is going on, and we can't speculate the exact reasons. We have an idea maybe, but we don't know for sure. We don't, because we're not there. We're not talent. We're not back there every single week. We don't know exactly the root issues of what it can be, right? We can say that, okay, well, maybe it's because of Tony Khan and his lack of leadership. And obviously that can be one of the things there, right? But is it just because of a mixed bag of all the talent there? But again, to my point that I mentioned too as well, maybe, you don't hear about this in WWE or Impact or really anywhere else. So to me, at the end of the day, I mean, look, I really don't care about this story. I mean, that's just me. I really don't care about this story because I kind of like talking about the drama too sometimes, but to me, I like to watch the wrestling shows and kind of see, what the wrestling show, how the wrestling shows are doing, and talk about that, right? But talk about drama too, every now and then is, it is needed, right? Because that's what people love, right? They love the drama in pro wrestling, especially like the backstage news. But to me though, I honestly think that this situation with Lufisto, in the next few months from now, no one's gonna be talking about it unless something else comes out of it, right? Like, or you know what I mean, or unless there's or unless fucking Britt Baker does does something, or she mentions Lufisto's name on TV, or whatever the case would be. But it to me,
it just adds more fuel to the fire of what we've been told. Not saying no, because I'm not gonna sit here and say Lufisto's word is golden, but it just adds more fuel to that fire. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get you. But by I don't want to say next week. Maybe in a few. Maybe or maybe next week. I don't know. But by
the next couple months, few months. So
by this time, it's going to be a story that some people might still talk about, but it's not going to be a big issue anymore. But then there's just going to be another issue.
And this was 18 months ago too, as well.
Right.
So if we're talking about something that happened a year and a half ago, right? And yes, there's still ongoing issues. Who knows that, from the time this year started, as far as recent events, I haven't really heard anything as far as major drama wise for the AEW women's locker room from this year on. I mean, yeah, there was stuff in the past with, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, and there's still issues there, but I'm saying anything new and fresh, I really haven't really heard of.
But we're done with that. Let's move on to SummerSlam. So SummerSlam was this past Saturday, August 5th, at the Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. The first pay-per-view at Ford Field since WrestleMania 23, 2007. Let's see what we have here. The matches. The first match of the night, you have Logan Paul versus Ricochet in a singles match, 18 minutes. Logan Paul winning via brass knucks, which, perfect ending, nice ending, because, Logan Paul is the scumbag heel. So, of course, he's going to be a scumbag and cheat to win. I thought this was a good match. It was entertaining. The people liked it. Kind of, did a lot of the modern wrestling stuff, a lot of spots, a lot of false finishes. Can't complain, though. I enjoyed it. Ricochet really went out there and was in his bag. Logan just continues to impress everybody with each match. I thought in this match there was a lot of green on Logan's part. There were some spots where he kind of, it almost looked like he he almost hurt himself. Like the spot where he was doing the what do you call it, the buckshot lariat outside of the ring, and instead of that perfect landing, it almost seemed like he collided knees with Ricochet and they fell. So I'm just like, all right, dude, chill. like chill, Logan. You don't need to do too much. But and again, I forget that Logan, he didn't go to wrestling. I mean, he kind of did go to wrestling school. He was trained by Brian Kendrick and Shawn Michaels, but he wasn't properly trained. So which I think he kind of needs a little bit more training, but that's just me. But I think Logan's great, much better as a heel. I never want to see him as a babyface, but first match of the night, Logan had to, I guess Logan requested being first on the night so he can go see his brother Jake have a fight, which he won. But good match, can't complain, aside from a few botched spots. But what'd you think about the match?
Good. It was good. Yeah, I mean, it was sloppy-ish. Not like in a not bad sloppy, but just kind of in a, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say good sloppy. I don't think there's such thing as good sloppy, but, but it wasn't a perfect match. But, I think it was one of the better matches of the night overall. Yeah, it was a good opener. I mean, can't really complain.
All right. Next part-timer opening the show, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar in a singles match, 17 minutes and 35 seconds. My pick for match of the night. A lot of this was Brock just manhandling Cody, beating the shit out of him. And this is probably the most vocal I've ever seen Brock. Brock is just yelling at Cody, stay down, it's only going to get worse. And then when he finally gets back in the ring, he says, you dumb son of a bitch. And he just starts beating on him. And then, in the end, Cody, triumphs over Brock, pins him clean, which I wasn't expecting. I thought there was going to be some fuckery, especially since it was a regular wrestling match. But this was 17 minutes and 35 seconds. This is probably the longest, Brock match that he's had as just a straight-up singles match in a while, unless I'm forgetting something. But I thought this was a well-constructed match. This seemed like a pay-per-view match to me. And it was a nice way to end the feud. I know you weren't crazy about the feud, but I thought this was a nice way to end the feud. Afterwards, Brock has an unplanned segment, according to Triple H, where he shakes Cody's hand and hugs him and then raises his hand. Basically, I guess his way of explaining the feud is that I just want to see what you're made of. Now you're ready for Roman.
Yeah, and that was unplanned too. Imagine if he didn't do that.
Yeah, I think that added to it. I mean, here's the thing. The first time I watched the match, I thought that was weird. And then the second time I watched the match, I'm like, all right, I think it needed that. If he didn't do that, it just would have been like, okay, Brock's just walking away in defeat, with no shorts, which was weird. I don't know, when did Brock's shorts get ripped, but whatever. But overall, this is a really good match, match of the night, in my opinion. What did you think about the match?
It was good. It was the best out of the three. It was a SummerSlam worthy match. Cody won. He looked strong. This was the best possible situation that they could have done for Cody right here. So, good thing that it happened. You know what I mean? Brock put on his working boots during SummerSlam, and Cody looked good. So, good match overall. Match of the night, I would probably say so. Maybe. Yeah. I think it's probably match of the night. But yeah, no. The whole hug and thing at the end, again, good on Brock for calling that, because if that didn't happen or anything like that, it's just again, there's no story. Still, this feud's over, and we got all the way through the feud without, of reasons of the feud in the first place. But if that hug was oh, well, I'm just showing that, I'm just making sure that you're ready. Okay, well, I guess I'll accept it. It's still stupid as shit, but I'll accept it better than not having anything at all. So there's that.
Next is the 25-man Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal. LA Knight won which, we all predicted, and, good it happened. In my opinion, I don't know how you felt about the match. I was actually entertained by this match. I liked it. LA Knight, of course, won, which, finally they gave LA Knight something. It was good seeing Chad Gable shine. It kind of looks like he's getting more than that, judging by what happened on Raw. But surprisingly entertaining match. Cross eliminating AJ, or helping eliminate AJ, and continuing that feud. So it looks like they haven't completely given up on Cross. But LA Knight getting the win, and then conveniently in a Slim Jim commercial with Bianca Belair, which it's funny because it almost seems apropos that LA Knight's in a Slim Jim commercial, whereas Randy Savage had "Oh yeah" and Knight has "Yeah." So
yeah.
It goes hand in hand. But what do you think about the match?
It was a battle royal.
All right.
I mean, the right person won. Now, I don't want to be busting people's bubble. I am happy that LA Knight won. I'm happy. Great, good for him. He deserves it. What does this win do for LA Knight? Wasn't for a title. Wasn't for a championship shot. What does this win actually do? People need to ask themselves that. Now, the fact that he was on Raw, you already know what I'm gonna say. Love LA Knight, but can we explain why he's on Raw? If they were gonna do this, you know what they could have done to fix this, Drew, and just made it easy? Hey, if you win the Battle Royal, Slim Jim's Battle Royal, you get to be on Raw and SmackDown for the rest of the year. And why would they want to do that? A, for a better payday, for double paydays, but also two, you get more shots, more opportunities, more access to more belts.
Right.
That's all they have to do. But now he's got a feud with The Miz, and is he on Raw now all of a sudden? Like, can we get an explanation? But whatever, right? What the fuck? What the fuck do I know? I don't. I hate that I have to make wrestling logical. Who does that, right?
What's that?
But no. But as far as LA Knight winning, absolutely 100%, 1000% the right decision. Got a huge pop at the end of the day. So happy for him. Happy for him, man. You know what I mean? Let's see where this goes from here. Maybe gets a push for a mid-card belt. He ain't going after a world title. He ain't going after the world title right now. I can tell you that. He ain't going after Roman Reigns. So let's not even think to even put that in our heads right now. But right now he's being utilized pretty well. So that's a start.
All right. Next is the MMA rules match. Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. Match was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This match had a good package. I'll say that. After that, it's crickets. Ooh, boy. This was not a... I don't want to say this was a bad match. People just didn't really care. Because, it's called an MMA rules match, and you have a WWE referee coming out and explaining the rules of an MMA match. So it's like, why not get an MMA guy, since, they're in bed with Endeavor? Why not get an MMA guy to come out and be a special guest referee? Or an enforcer, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But this match was no bueno. The girls actually legit got hurt. Shayna legit got a shiner and hurt her, her arm, forearm, elbow. Yeah. So Shayna got the win, which she should have. And looks like this is the last we're going to see of Ronda. There's no official award yet, but that's kind of the way it looks. But this is the worst match of the night. Definitely a worst match of the year candidate. But what'd you think?
I will say this. Worst match of the night, yes. I don't think it was as bad as people are making it out to be.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because what the fuck did you expect?
Right.
If you go in with high expectations, your expectations or not high expectations, but like if you go in with higher expectations than usual, then you're gonna come off say, oh, this match, was the worst match. It wasn't good. I'm not saying it was good, but it's just like at the same time, it's like, what were you expecting with this, right? And this is what I said. I said, have them go out there and legit spar. Like, legitimately spar with each other for a little bit, then just turn it into a fucking regular wrestling match. You know what I mean? But that's behind that MMA theme, right? But since they didn't have them go out there and actually legit spar for, like, the first couple minutes of the match, then, it just ended up looking, very phony, right? Yeah, if they would have had a legit spar, yeah, it would have been probably would have been boring, but that would have made it realistic. You know what I mean? Because, like, MMA, right, is obviously, especially for, like, Ronda Rousey, like, what's Ronda gonna do? She's gonna get you on the ground, she's gonna, do her jujitsu and try to make you tap out, you know what I mean? So, but, Ronda's gonna be gone, probably forever now, at least for a while. Her run's over, so, I'm just hoping that they actually do something with Shayna Baszler now, as far as, her credibility now, and hopefully she gets a push for the women's title at some point. So, yeah. So, can't really say anything, much else about it. I mean, the match wasn't good. So,
I think if they can really or I don't want to say repackage, but like really repush her, she can be a good opponent for Rhea. Like that could be that could be a good match, a good feud right there. So, next is the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Gunther winning. Match was 13 minutes and 40 seconds. I mean, I thought this was a good match. I mean, I think we expected it to be a good match. I thought it was missing something, though. I mean, it could have been length. I thought it maybe could have been longer to really kind of, like, kick into that second gear. Because this didn't really have the feeling of a Gunther match. And I don't want to say it's Gunther's fault. Like, it's really nobody's fault, but I think it was length, if anything. But good match. I don't want to say it was a great match. Not as good as the triple threat at Mania, but like it was still a good match. But Gunther winning after Drew pretty much getting racked in the nuts on the rope, and then Gunther taking advantage of the situation and winning, which good, perfect ending. Drew walking away pissed off, which teases maybe a possible heel turn for Drew. I don't know. Which, at this point, I think he needs something. I mean, because you look at everybody on Raw, everyone's doing something. Drew's the only one that's not really doing anything. I mean, because obviously Drew can work. He has the look. I mean, he can cut a decent promo, and he looks like a star. So they need to find a way to do something with him that can help him stand out. Because at this point, he's just there, he's in danger of just being another wrestler on the show, which shouldn't be the case. But overall, what do you think about the match?
Pretty much the same thoughts. Good match. Didn't really got a second gear. I was hoping that little flurry, the finisher flurry that going to put together. Hopefully, I was thinking hopefully Drew would kick out of that, and maybe it'll give about another couple more minutes. You know what I mean, to give it that little that final push, but we didn't get that. And and this pay-per-view was super long as well. So when people were fucking complaining like, oh, you got rid of 2 women's matches, like, imagine if those other 2, if Rhea Ripley had a match on here, then if you would have had Becky and Trish on the card, like. That the pay-per-view would have went past midnight here in San Antonio. Like, come on, guys. Like, more is not necessarily better. Like, come on. But it was a good match, though. Good match. I mean, Gunther and Drew McIntyre, there's no way that they can have a bad match. They're incapable of having a bad match. But it definitely could have been more, right? But still a good match, though. Still a good professional wrestling match at the end of the day. So,
you're right. Now, I mean, before we get to the next match, so what would you do with Drew? as far as like character push, whatever. What would you do with them?
I guess turn him heel and have him go up against Seth eventually.
So like Matt Riddle on Monday, you know, and I don't want to jump ahead, but like he was a part of that what is it, Fatal 4-Way, 5-Way or whatever, and you know he said, I'm going to dedicate this to my bro Drew McIntyre. Like, do you think that's how you start a heel Drew, is have him turn on Riddle, and then eventually maybe that's how you bring back Orton, is to go against Drew?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Orton was supposed to return at SummerSlam, right? Like, you know, I mean,
I think they're. Go ahead.
No, I'm not depending on Orton's return to do something with Drew McIntyre. I think you get to just turn Drew heel, right, and have him go up against Riddle, right? That's good, and have him defeat Riddle, and just have him start his ascent up the ladder, and eventually face off against a face. Seth Rollins, you know what I mean? Maybe at Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? Maybe they could do something there, you know. So, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see and see how they do that. But I think him turning heel and have him eventually go up that chain and have him be a heel for a while, because that'll be a little. It'll be a little breath of fresh air for him, but also as well, he said he doesn't want to turn heel. He doesn't want to turn heel because he likes doing the Make-A-Wish stuff. So that's probably another thing. That's probably another obstacle right there, is because he doesn't even want to turn heel. He wants to be a babyface. So, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe just give him an edge. You know what I mean? Maybe keep him a babyface, just give him an edge, right? You know what I mean? And so. That'll probably work better, but we'll have to wait and see and see how things develop.
All right. Speaking of Seth Rollins, next match is the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth frickin' Rollins and Finn Balor. 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I thought this was a good match. I can't complain. I mean, these two guys know how to work. They know how to work against each other. I mean, they've done it multiple times, so they can have a good match. Originally I thought this was the best match of the night, but after rewatching the show, specifically for key matches like the Brock match and this match and a few others, I pretty much changed my opinion. I thought the Brock match and Cody was the best match of the night. Originally I picked this as my favorite match of the night. After rewatching it, I'm like, I mean it's a good match, but nothing really interesting happens until like the Judgment Day stuff. But and then, we know what happened. Judgment Day comes out. Damian is trying to help Finn, but then Finn says no. But then Finn says he needs his help, and Damian throws the briefcase in, and then Seth ends up curb stopping Finn on the briefcase, gets the win, and that continues the descent going on between the Judgment Day, preferably Finn and Damian, which Damian ended up creating a new meme. So good on him, but a decent match. I mean, not really a decent match. I thought it was a good match, but seemed more like a Monday Night Raw match in my opinion. But overall, what'd you think?
I thought this was match of the night. That was an excellent pro wrestling match overall. Right. Between two great workers, the story there with Finn, obviously. Having the word 7 written on his collarbone shoulder, right? That they got injured 7 years ago. So, and they did the barricade spot. So I like those little points of storytelling in this match overall. But a lot of great counters, a lot of great false finishes as well in this match.
Right.
Obviously, we knew Judgment Day was going to get involved. I was hoping Finn was going to win, but. Obviously they got something else planned for Finn Balor and Judgment Day. If you saw Monday Night Raw, you kind of have an idea where they're going with the group in the situation there. So, but Seth winning here, good. It's just who is it going to be his opponent? Going into Payback. So. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, and see what happens. But yeah, I thought this match was damn good overall.
Right. Judging by Raw, it looks like we already know his opponent, supposedly, maybe. Next is the triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship. Asuka, the champ, goes against Bianca Belair and Charlotte. This was a very unusually long match, and it's where I say unusually, judging by the talent in the ring. But I don't know. The crowd just was not. I think the crowd in general wasn't really working for this show, because during the show, because I have a group chat with on Snapchat with RJ and Monty asked me, "Does this feel like a SummerSlam to you?" Because it doesn't really feel like one to me. And I think a lot of that falls on the crowd, because the crowd just, after a certain point, they just weren't reacting to anything. They almost seemed like they were just sitting on their hands and reacting when, I guess something remotely interesting happened, but they were not digging this match. I don't want to say it was a bad match. It really wasn't. But
it was nowhere near a bad match.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't a bad match at all. It just was it was really dragging. And I again, we go back to the Drew and Gunther match. Is like, why was that 13 minutes and this was 20 minutes? Like, you could have given 5 minutes from this match to that match and let that match benefit from it. But yeah, this all three women are really fucking good, and they work their ass off to try to make this interesting. But it was dragging a lot. And then there was the point in the match where Bianca, it legit looked like she hurt her knee. And I'm thinking in my head, like, she's not acting, she's actually hurt. And then, you come to find out she wasn't really acting, she's just a really fucking good actress. And then, I guess the only thing that kind of took me out was that, I have a hurt knee and I can't walk, let me go on the top rope and do a move. It's like, okay. So she does her move, bing, bang, boom, she ends up getting the win and winning the title back. To which, as soon as I saw that, I just went, okay, Io's coming out. And lo and behold, Io comes out, gets the win. Now Io Shirai is your new women's champion. It was a nice moment, seeing Bayley in the ring with Io, and then you had Dakota coming out to embrace, which, a year ago, during a Bianca match, actually, you had Bayley come out with Io and Dakota to form Damage Control. And Damage Control has been kind of a mixed bag. Like, they've been kind of an odd group. They haven't been the best group, but, to their credit, they're still here. They're still cohesive. Now Io's your new champion. How that's going to work out, we'll see. And I love Io. I'm glad Io's the champ, so we'll see what she does as the champ. But what'd you think about the match and afterwards?
I thought the match, again, kind of like the other women's match. This match is better than what people are making out to be. I thought this was the third best match of the night. Like, the crowd really got into it towards the end when Bianca came back. And, she came back, she did that 450, these women worked super hard in this match. But I thought overall, like, to your point, the crowd was, was a little lackluster. But, I liked the match. You know what I mean? For what it was overall, right? You got three of the best women's wrestlers in WWE, and the story that was being told with Bianca's knee, ended up causing her the title as soon as Io came out and cashed in. As far as Io's cash in, fantastic. She's one of the ones I worried about ever coming up to the main roster. And, it doesn't matter what they do from here with her. I mean, it does. Eventually, yes, it does. But what I'm saying is that she will always be in the record books. No one can take this away from her, saying that she, if she made the right decision coming back to WWE. As of right now, she made the right decision because she is in the record book as a champion. So super happy, super happy for Io at the end of the day. But yeah, we'll just see where this goes from here. There are mixed rumors going around right now of a couple of women possibly coming back. We'll cover that in the news topics. But yeah, this, like, even though this happened, great moment, you still gotta fix the women's division on SmackDown. You still gotta fix the women's division on SmackDown. So hopefully they have some plans in place for Io that makes sense. And we still possibly have that situation with the eventual breakup of Damage Control with Bayley and Io. So that's still looming. So, but I was thoroughly entertained by this match overall. So there you go.
All right. Now we're on to the main event. The undisputed WWE Universal Championship match and recognition of the tribal chief of the Anoa'i family. Tribal Combat. Roman Reigns, the champion, with Paul Heyman versus Jey Uso. Longest match in the night, 36 minutes and 5 seconds, because it's Roman. Yes, that was long matches. Really disappointed in this match for a lot of reasons. Of all the Roman matches, of the Bloodline stuff, this is probably the most underwhelming and disappointing match. Roman's matches, kind of like how we've always said, have been mainly a lot of moments and less wrestling. Not to say that he doesn't have good matches, but it's just, as of late, it's you see more and more of the dramatics, of the cinematic wrestling stuff, of the acting. And this match I thought was just way too long. And I mean, it's just another thing of, like, it's supposed to be called Tribal Combat, and there's no elders, even though they were very, like, adamant about, do the elders know about this? The elders approved it. No elders, no Alpha, no Sika, no Rikishi. Definitely no Dwayne. And then, whatchamacallit, like, no setup. Like, no, like, tiki torches or whatever. It was just a fucking no disqualification match.
It was just a regular no disqualification hardcore match, whatever you want to call it. Like, just the name again, and I've been mentioning this lately, they like to just add, like, wherever, like, normal stipulations, like normal promo segments, they'll just add, like, a moniker to it. Oh, Tribal Combat, the Tribal Trial, like when they had, like, the trial, I'm like, what? Like, that's just random, like, you know what I mean? Like, what, or and then they had the following week, like the tribulations of Jey Uso, or wherever the fuck it was. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this match didn't do it for me. Not to say it was a bad match. It wasn't a bad match. There's people out there saying, "Oh, this is a 1-star match." Shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. You may not enjoy the match, but, like, the quiet wrestling was still good. There was still quiet wrestling that was good in the match. But just for the expectations of what this storyline is, expected more, and it was a complete miss. And there's some people say, "Oh, well, the Bloodline storyline has jumped the shark." Let's not go that far yet. Let's not go that far yet. This is just, if we had, out of the past year and a half, 2 years of the height of the storyline, one bad pay-per-view match is not the end-all be-all. Like, you still have time to make it up. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really like the direction that they're going in right now, because of the fact that I see where it's going, and it's like, it's predictable, which is not bad, but it's like, at the end of the day, too, it's like, it's really just, it seems like we're dragging our feet towards the finish line, which is next year's WrestleMania. So, but hey, this is what happens when you put all your eggs in the Roman basket, in the Bloodline basket, and you don't give that same energy to other stories, other talents on the show. Imagine if the same energy is given to all other stories. Imagine if this same exact energy was given to Ronda and Shayna. Not to say that we would care or that the match would have been better, but there would have been more investment. Imagine if we would have had this for for anything else on the show. You know what I mean? I think the show could have been overall better, but the match overall though, it wasn't a bad match. Like let's not say, oh, this was a bad wrestling match. No, it wasn't a bad wrestling match. What was bad about it was, in comparison to expectations that we expect from the Bloodline, it underdelivered.
It was an overbooked match. It was the definition of hat. It was a definition of a hat on a hat. Like, there was a lot going on in this match, more than any other Roman match. And the big plot twist, quote unquote, in the match was Jimmy came out and cost Jay the match. And I'll admit, I was pissed. I'm still kind of pissed, but I was pissed because, to me, I looked at it as like, so why did Jimmy help Roman win? To which RJ, our good buddy RJ, kind of had to put me, not put me in my place, but like kind of correct me. And he said his little brother pointed this out, that and these are things that I'm forgetting, where Roman has been kind of planting those seeds of dissension between the Usos, telling, or Jimmy admitting to Jay, I didn't think you were going to be a top guy. And then Jay telling Jimmy, when I was growing up, it was all about listen to your older brother. Your older brother knows better. He's the prom king. He's the All-American in high school. Blah 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 blah. And then, that can be something that causes that dissension of Jimmy, telling Jay, you were so wrapped up in being, the tribal chief and main event Jey Uso that you forgot about me. That you allowed me to get my ass beat. And, if there's, another thing that, I had to kind of relook at, after the end of this match, was when Jimmy was walking away, he didn't acknowledge, pun intended, Roman. He just walked away. So, and then I know this Friday is supposed to be, Jimmy, I guess, coming back into the Bloodline. I hope that's not the case, because again, they're just going to make Jimmy look stupid. I hope for Jimmy it's more just like, this ain't got nothing to do with you, Oos. It's between me and Jay. I still don't like you, or not even I don't like you, but I'm still pissed at you. So get the hell out of the ring or whatever. But if this is a storyline just between Jimmy and Jay and it has nothing to do with the Bloodline, okay, like make it work, make it make sense, and just let it be its own thing. But if it ends with Jimmy just coming back into the Bloodline, it's going to make him look stupid, in my opinion. But the match itself, kind of like with you, it wasn't terrible by any means. It was just, I think a lot of the gaga surrounding it just kind of overcrowded the match to where you forgot that there was a match. But that's just my opinion. But
another thing too as well. So the tribal combat, right? It went against his own stipulations.
Yeah.
So the preview, I think it was on WWE.com, it stated that there could be no interference from anyone from the Bloodline, past or present.
Right. And typical WWE fashion, they don't follow their own rules.
So why even put it out there if you're not going to follow through with it? But whatever.
Oh, no. But that's SummerSlam. Overall grade, what would you give this?
Probably a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll go with you. 6 out of 10. C minus. I'll give this a C minus, maybe a D, maybe a D plus or a C minus, roughly around there. But my match of the night, Cody and Brock, I thought was really good, especially on a second, viewing. I thought the world title match with Finn and Seth, I thought was just as good. But I just thought Cody and Brock seemed like more of a SummerSlam pay-per-view match. And then, the worst match of the night was Ronda and Shayna. Can't really say they didn't try, but it's just to no avail. What about you? Match of the night, worst match of the night?
Match of the night was Finn and Seth. Worst match was Shayna and Ronda.
All right, not a good SummerSlam. probably the worst pay-per-view in the past year, since the Triple H era, quote unquote. But that was SummerSlam, people. So I guess we can move on to reviewing some shows. I didn't watch Collision on Saturday. Collision was playing at the same time as SummerSlam. Huh?
I said no one did. I mean, it was during SummerSlam, so.
Did you watch it?
No, I was watching SummerSlam. I mean, I'm sure it was a good show still. I mean, but didn't watch it.
Mish is saying he watched it. It wasn't that bad. I know the main event was CM Punk versus Ricky Starks with Ricky Steamboat as the ref, and I know afterwards
I saw the ending to that. I did see that.
And Starks beat down Steamboat. I think they only got 440, 450 in the ratings. Oh boy.
Overall, I have it up here actually. They lost 300,000 viewers from the last couple weeks, but so for Collision at 417,000 viewers, they were in the 18 to 49. They were at a .13. I think they were number 16th overall for Saturday night. So obviously it's gonna be down, so. I mean, this is what we should expect on pay-per-view nights for a Collision. So,
yep. So that was the weekend. Let's get to Raw. Raw actually wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it for the most part. Yeah.
Seemed like a Triple H show, with the news of Vince McMahon being out on medical leave after having spinal surgery. So. Looked like Triple H was running the show, and you can tell. Opening segment, you had Seth. Was it Seth? Was it Cody? Yeah, Cody came out first, and then Seth came out to kind of tease that rematch that I hope we don't get. And then the Judgment Day comes out to talk a little bit of shit because they're Judgment Day, and they want a match. They're getting in each other's face, talking shit. Sami Zayn comes out to kind of even the odds, so it ends up being a 6-man later on tonight, or so we think. And then, more dissension with the Judgment Day between Finn and Damian. JD McDonough getting involved to kind of, I guess, side with Finn because, Finn's his mentor.
I mean, about time they finally came back to that, to what I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, where it was when Finn's staring at fucking JD McDonough in the parking lot. So maybe we get to finally continue the JD McDonough to Judgment Day. I mean, not maybe. That's what's going to happen. How we're going to get there is that's going to be the question. So,
well, it looks like he's putting in his resume, so to speak, because he beat down quote unquote Sami Zayn. Come to find out, Sami Zayn has a dislocated elbow?
Whatever it was, man, that motherfucker, he had a goddamn basketball on his elbow, so that's not good.
That was gross.
I mean, it seems to me tag team wrestling in WWE is fully cursed. So
yeah, because you got Kevin Owens out with hurt ribs, and now you got Sammy, who, I mean, he looks like he's gonna show up to the shows at least, but I don't know when the fuck that happened. But Sami Zayn getting taken out of the match. Nakamura offers his services after he just had a match with Bronson, which I thought was pretty good. More on that later. Well, maybe we'll just talk about the main event anyway. So 6-man, you had Nakamura and the champ Seth and Cody versus Judgment Day. Pretty fun 6-man tag. The faces going over. Afterwards, the faces are celebrating. Cody and Seth are still at odds. They don't want anything to do with each other. Cody wants to try and make peace, and then finally Seth shakes Cody's hand. They're going up to celebrate. You see Nakamura, the only one who's not celebrating. He King Shasta's old Seth. So now Nakamura's a heel. And, I guess that's going to be the match at Payback for the title.
Yeah,
who knows?
That's which I'm fine with. But this is just another feud for Rollins to win, so that way it's just I don't feel bad for Nakamura. I don't want to say it in a bad way, but it's just a filler feud. That's all it is. It's just a filler feud. There's nothing extraordinary that's going to be going on with this. Pretty sure the match is going to be great, right? But, just a filler for you. Nakamura ain't winning shit.
All right. Next, or I guess the first big match of the night, was a 4-way to determine who was going to be the number one contender for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. Ricochet, Chad Gable, Matt Riddle, and Tommaso Ciampa. Really good match. They were in, where were they at? Minnesota? They're in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minneapolis, yeah.
Which was the hometown of Chad Gable, who got a hero's welcome. He got the win. And afterwards, there's a nice little moment with his family where he takes his son from ringside and runs around the ring with him. It was pretty touching. I got a little choked up, I'm not going to lie. And, telling his son, I love you, buddy. So Chad Gable kind of getting that singles, I don't want to say superstar, but kind of getting that singles rub, because he had a really good match with Gunther the previous week. Now he's going to have more than 5 minutes with Gunther. The question is it just going to be a Raw match or is it going to be on a pay-per-view? I think they should probably hold off on this and have it be a pay-per-view match. I think it's worthy enough, especially now that you're building up Chad as something credible to the show. But it more than likely it'll end up being a Raw match. But what do you think?
Yeah, fully deserves it. We'll love to see it. I just think that in order for Gunther, likely, this may be one of his last opponents to defeat to become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. It's Chad Gable. No offense to Chad Gable. I was thinking of even though Gunther is the final boss, but another final boss type person that would, give him. But Gunther has defeated everybody already, so But it's gonna be a great match, though. I'm gonna really love it. Chad, he definitely deserves a push like this. You know what I mean? He really deserves something like this. So, hopefully when they do have their match, they can have a potential sleeper for match of the year. Probably not going to be match of the year, but they could probably have a good sleeper match.
Yeah, you never know. But Gunther, September 6th is when he passes that record. So about a month away from that shit. So we already talked about Nakamura and Reed. You had Shayna Baszler and Zoe. After Zoe comes out, talks a little bit of shit to Becky about Becky's match with Trish next week, and then Shayna comes out to talk a little bit of shit. They have a match. Shayna goes over. Shayna gets a hero's welcome for getting rid of Ronda Rousey, which I thought was good. So it looks like they want to continue making Shayna a thing. So good. You had Otis versus Ludwig after Ludwig was being inappropriate with Maxine. I don't know what Tiffany's going to think about that, but Ludwig gets the win. Looks like they want to make Ludwig something. So, good. Because, again, I love Gunther. I've always liked Imperium. I just haven't liked how they've been booked on the show, Imperium. They've just been kind of booked more as flunkies rather than, legit guys that, look almost as intimidating as Gunther. But it looks like they want to fix that. So, the New Day returning to face the Viking Raiders. New Day get the win. Good to see New Day back.
That was much needed for the tag division. Much needed.
Right. Big E's still not back. Big E did an interview saying that his doctors have told him probably not to wrestle again. So, how true that is, we're not sure. So, but overall, decent Raw. I mean, not decent Raw. It was actually a pretty good Raw. It was pretty solid. Kept my interest.
It was good.
One of the better Raws in memory. So, we'll get to ratings after NXT. So, NXT was last night. NXT usually doesn't disappoint. They had a nice little packed show. Let's see. So I kind of missed maybe the first 15 minutes of NXT. So didn't see Mustafa Ali and Axiom. Did you see it, and what'd you think?
I mean, it was good. Excuse me. Good TV match. Obviously, Mustafa Ali picked up the win there. But yeah, it was a good match. Good match. I mean, nothing really that like really stood out or nothing groundbreaking. It was a good TV match. Good opener.
All right. This is the match I did come into. So Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan. Blair getting the win, and then Dana Brooke going apeshit, claiming that she has a killer instinct and Kalani doesn't. Which me and the wife kind of chuckle about that. You know, Dana Brooke having a killer instinct. Like, come on. But that match happened. You had the Heritage Cup, Noam Dar versus Tyler Bate. Bate winning. Afterwards, Bate wanting that, or not Bate, but Dar wanting that, you know, his Heritage Cup back because it, you know, it gives him confidence. It makes him feel better about himself. So Frazier told Bate, or not Bate, but Frazier told Dar, listen, he'll give you your cup back as long as you admit it's fake. So he ended up giving his cup back, and then they're going to have a match next week to determine who the real Heritage Cup winner is. So should be a good match. All right, and then Trick Williams comes out and challenges Ilya Dragunov to a match at Heatwave. That's going to be in 2 weeks. This is coming off from last week where Trick Williams it wasn't separated from Hayes, but just told Hayes, listen, you know, I'm always going to have your back, but I need to do my own thing. I don't want people to think I'm just your sidekick. I want to prove to the world I'm not just your sidekick. So, kind of going with, you know, what you've always said about, you know, splitting up teams is that they don't always need to be jealous of each other. Like, can they just leave on good terms? And you're right. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted Trick to turn on Mello because it would have felt rushed and forced. So, I like the idea of Trick just saying, "Listen, I want to be my own man. Like, I'm here if you need me."
For some reason, I still think it may happen, but
I mean, you never know. You never know. But Trick challenges Ilya. Should be a decent match. I mean, Ilya seems to bring out the best in everybody he works with. So we'll see how that works out. You see Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner. Your boy Von Khali.
Von Khali.
Your boy. They had a decent match. Wasn't really anything special, in my opinion.
That was match of the year. I don't know what you're talking about.
Match of the year. All right, we'll go with that. Breaker getting the win. Afterwards, Vaughn throws Breaker through a table.
And all of Vic Joseph's candy splattered everywhere. God damn it. Yeah, he must have cavities, man. Shit.
I don't know. A lot of people just have a high metabolism. But, yeah, Vaughn's new gimmick is that he throws people through tables. So
Yeah. Like his T-shirt.
All right. There was an A. Thorpe vignette where he was talking about living in the woods to get away from people or whatever. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen replace... Who the fuck did they replace?
Oh, they replaced... No, they didn't replace somebody. Who they faced up again?
They were going up against Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. They were supposed to have different opponents.
Yeah. So Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak. They were just looking for two guys to fight.
Right. Well,
and Damon Kim won. Damon Kim was like, "Oh, I'll fight you." Well, he was like, "Well, there's only one of you." So then Brooks and Jensen, they came out and they're like, "Oh, we'll fight you."
Yeah, but who are their original opponents? Because I know, like, Schism, they were looking for the Creeds, and then they're beating this random...
Oh, it was, Ledger and, Tech Ledger and, other guy.
Other guy. Yeah, they got beat up, and they were supposed to have a match, so then Jensen and Briggs replaced them. Hank Walker, that's what...
Hank Walker, there you go.
Maurice is saying. Decent match, really nothing to kind of, ride home about. Dempsey and Gulak getting the win after Kemp came out and caused a distraction. And Schism came out during Ivy Now and Count James's matches, or not matches, but before that they were going up to every team and everybody asking where are the Creeds. They go up to the family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks ask him, where are the creeds, and then of course, the family just, being smart mouse and saying, we don't know where they are, and then just making up random theories, and then they pull up crowbars and say, hey, let's go, and Schism walks away. Later on, Schism comes out to surround the ring during Ivy Nile and Kiana James's matches. Ivy Nile having history with the Creeds. Kiana getting the win. They allow Kiana to leave on her own accord. And then they surround Ivy and say, where are the Creeds? Where are the Creeds? And to which the family comes out to even the odds and help out Ivy. And what else happened? Nothing important happened, and at least I think. But main event, you had the NXT North American Championship. You had Dominic, who's the North American champion, with Rhea Mami, versus Dragon Lee, who is accompanied by Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio earlier in the night giving advice to future NXT stars, giving advice to Roxanne, saying, hey, you're a star. After Saturday, you're a star. And then saying the same thing to Thea, giving confidence to Thea, because Thea's a little down in the dumps as of late, and kind of reinvigorating her spirit. So it's a cute segment.
Not really, because immediately she was all like, "At least he won't throw in the towel." When she told that to Andre Chase. Oh, poor Thea. Should be okay.
But main event time, Dom and Dragon. Good match. Again, nothing too crazy about it. Nothing that was to write home about it too much, but good match. And I know you said Dragon Lee. You thought Dragon Lee should have won. I don't know. I don't know if Dragon Lee would have been the right guy to win, but it was a good match. Good back and forth. A little predictable, which sometimes predictable is good. In this case, it was good predictable. And Rhea causing the distraction while the ref wasn't looking, hitting Dragon Lee in the back of the head with the belt, and then Dom getting the win. Afterwards, Ray tries to even the odds. Leah Valkyria comes out because she has a thing going on with Rhea. She takes out Rhea, and now you got that feud going for NXT. And like Maurice is saying, NXT actually had a spike in the rating this week, 766. So good for NXT. For NXT, that's good. So that was NXT. NXT was actually, again, NXT is usually very good. It's usually one of the, if not the best wrestling show of the week. But overall, what'd you think about NXT?
Fun show. I love watching it. It's an easy watch, easy 2 hours. You can just turn your brain off and just watch it. You know what I mean? So.
All right. So, do you have the ratings?
I do, yes. NXT was just mentioned, 776,000 viewers, 0.23 in the demo. That was for last night's NXT. We already went over Collision from last Saturday. I have Dynamite, last week's Dynamite, 894,000 viewers, and they had a 0.31 18 to 49 demographic, and it looks like that demo was slightly up from the prior week. SmackDown, 2,248,000, 0.62 in the demo. Rampage, 434,000, 0.14 in the demo, and was Rampage up? Because that seems like that's a higher number than usual for Rampage. Let me take a quick look, because that seems they were actually up, both in the demo and the viewership. So okay, interesting. Well, you know what? Because they did have that that parking lot brawl. Which I looked at, was like, okay, that was kind of a crazy match to have on Rampage, but people tune in for it, I guess. So, then we already did Raw too. We already did Raw's ratings too as well. So, okay, yeah, that's all I got for the ratings, at least.
Nice, and it's really for the shows. Do you want to talk a little bit about AEW? Do a little brief rundown of Dynamite?
Yeah, we can do a little brief run of Dynamite tonight. Where you want to start from the beginning, or what you want to do?
I mean, the only segments I remember jumping into was, obviously the MJF and Adam Cole segment where they went to, was it some trampoline place?
Yeah, beating the shit out of kid. Well, MJF beating the shit out of kids in dodgeball, which is pretty funny.
Awesome. And then, coming out later in the night to talk about, mainly Adam Cole to tell, MJF, listen, we couldn't win the AEW tag titles, but there's one set of tag titles I want and that I've never had, and that's the Ring of Honor tag titles. So, you and me versus Aussie Open at a 0 hour for All In, or All Out, I'm sorry, at Wembley Stadium. To which MJF graciously accepts. Roderick Strong comes out to pretty much say, hey, man, we're supposed to be tag champs. Not him. Why are you choosing him? And then MJF just, of course, rips into Rod. He calls him a generic white boy. And, go home, pretty much trying to do the Rock thing of, I want you to go home. What? And then, get in bed and listen to Taylor Swift. And then cry like a generic white bitch. Or I don't know, I forgot how exactly he said it, but Roddy rocks away, and then Adam gets pissed off, saying listen, he's my best friend, and so are you, and listen, let me go take care of this. I don't want there to be any problems with us. So, to which MJF just says, all right, handle your business. So, I'm assuming that's going to be the main event of All Out. If I had to guess.
As of right now in paper, that seems to be the main event, but there are still other matches that need to be filled out. Kenny Omega next week is going to have a interview with Jim Ross, and apparently he's going to discuss his future and maybe who he's going to possibly potentially face at All In. So,
I saw that segment because I had it on mute because I was listening to Andrew Carlick's show. Shout out to Carlick, and I just saw Kenny come on the screen, and. Did you watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode last night with Jannetty? Did you watch it?
I started watching it today for a little bit, but I didn't finish it yet.
I don't know. Just maybe this is not a bad angle, but Kenny Omega is starting to in the face. He's starting to look like Marty Jannetty.
No.
I don't know if it was the angle or maybe just Kenny was just having a bad day, but it's just dude, you look like fucking Marty Jannetty in the face, minus the whatever the fuck he's on. But and Kenny, I don't think is near as batshit crazy as Marty, but I digress. But yeah, I mean, and then also Samoa Joe, challenging CM Punk at All In. Or All Out, I'm sorry. And I mean, that should be a banger. I mean, putting CM Punk versus Samoa Joe on any pay-per-view is gonna draw interest, so that should be fun. I'll be honest, I don't remember the rest of the show until the main event, which we kind of already talked about the main event and what we think was behind.
You had the Hardys.
Oh,
and
yes.
The Young Bucks.
Saw that. Bucks getting the win, and then afterwards FTR coming out and throwing out the challenge, so we're getting FTR and the Young Bucks at All Out for the titles. Yay. But that's pretty much all I remember about the show. What would you think about tonight's Dynamite?
I mean, it wasn't better. Like to me, Dynamite lately, it's been good. But it hasn't been nothing fantastic great. It hasn't been anything bad either. It's been better. The shows have been better since earlier this year. Earlier this year, I won't say they weren't unwatchable, but it was just really nothing happening. But tonight, RVD and Jungle Boy RVD looked great in the short match they had. Did a fucking spinning leg, leg drop, spiral leg drop onto the barricade. Great shit there. Loving what they're doing with Swerve right now, with his character. You know what I mean? Sting's back, so it looks like they may have a match with Sting and Darby versus Swerve and AR Fox possibly at All In. So, I enjoyed the show overall. We already talked about the main event as well. So if I had to give it out of 10, probably made like a 6.5, 6.5 out of 10. So there was mostly good stuff, but there was some stuff on here that I won't say I could have done without, but like it just felt filler to me.
Right. So that was Dynamite, people. News. Let's get into the news. Breaking news. Actually, this is good news. Rhea Ripley announces engagement to Buddy Matthews.
Oh my God, the simps! What are you gonna do now?
Which is funny because
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that this is happening right now because now we're gonna see all these simps like, oh, I never really liked Rhea Ripley. Oh, you fucking cocksucker.
Yeah. Show me the girls you talk to, people. But yeah, because it's funny because both like Dominic's engaged to his real life girlfriend, and now you got Rhea engaged to her real life boyfriend. So which good for them because you root for good people to be happy. And I like Buddy. Buddy seems like a good dude, and Rhea seems like a sweet girl. So happy for them. Couldn't be more happy for them. Congratulations to the happy couple, and I'm sorry for all the simps out there. So, let's see. Other news. I guess we'll start with the meat. It's kind of like a nothing and a not nothing thing. So, WWE Endeavor merger expected to close in mid to late September. According to an article on Deadline, the WWE merger with Endeavor Holdings is expected to happen sometime in mid to late September under the TKO Group Holdings name. It was announced in April that WWE would merge with Endeavor, with both UFC and WWE under the same umbrella, but still running as separate entities, with Vince McMahon running the wrestling side of things and Triple H as head of creative. Deadline noted that the Endeavor Group Holdings has taken a hit from the WGA strike, but their overall results are ahead of Wall Street expectations. The Endeavor merger could open the door for some cross-marketing between WWE and UFC, and more doors opening with WWE within Hollywood for the company and its talent. McMahon has temporarily stepped away from his CEO duties after a major spinal surgery. His return is unknown. McMahon was also recently served with a search warrant and a federal subpoena. To date, no charges have been filed. Overall thoughts? Questions?
Yeah, we're gonna find out who's gonna get let go from the company. That's pretty much the biggest thing that I think is happening with this. So,
yeah, we're
expect cuts soon, ladies and gentlemen. So,
expect a bus flip soon, as they would say. Next is some not so good news. Steve Mongo McMichael health update following admission to intensive care. Let's see what we got here.
Well, I say he was recovering. He said that he's improving. His medical condition is improving. So,
I guess I was wrong. This is my first time reading the article, so I'm very sorry, people. For
you're over here starting out very somber. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's not what I read. Like,
very sorry, people.
You don't want Mongo to be alive, Drew? Like,
I want him dead. I'm playing. No, Jesus Christ. No. I'm sorry, people. This is my first time reading the article, so I'm very sorry for anyone I might have upset. But Mongo is a statement from his family, his wife Misty. Steve will be in the ICU for a few more days on antibiotics to clear his infection. He also has some fluid in his lungs, which he is being treated for as well. He's feisty as ever. Our Mongo is back. Please keep the prayers coming. In 2021, the news circulated that Mongo was diagnosed with ALS. At the time of the initial report, McMichael had almost lost 50 pounds. He can no longer lift his arm. Since then, updates have revealed that he has gotten sicker. Many feared for the worst. In this case, it sounds like he's getting a little better. So, good on Mongo. Any thoughts?
Well, I love Mongo McMichael. He was one of the original, he wasn't one of the original members of Four Horsemen, but he was one of the Four Horsemen that, like, I started knowing when I started, really watching WCW. So yeah, man, he'll have a soft spot. Always have a soft place in my heart. So I'm glad to see that he's doing better. Hopefully, he continues to improve with his health. So.
All right. Next are just some statements from people. Eric Bischoff says that, in his opinion, he thinks Logan Paul is better than 98% of the wrestlers on most rosters. On his podcast, he said, Logan Paul, in my opinion, one of the most impressive sports entertainers, professional wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, to come down the pike in the last 28 years on 83 weeks. He puts on a clinic for probably 90% of the roster of any company in the country. 100% of the roster in most cases, his timing, his psychology, his execution, his feel for the audience. Ricochet deserves 50% of the credit. He talked about their match. Nothing was rushed. Everything mattered. They gave people the time to absorb what they were seeing. What are your thoughts on Bischoff's statement?
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong about that. He obviously knows a thing or two about pro wrestling. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree for what you said there.
All right. And last bit of news. Since we're on the Logan Paul side of things, Logan Paul talks about the difference between wrestling and boxing. He says wrestling is harder than boxing. He says wrestling requires greater mental dexterity, saying, with wrestling, when I first started, I couldn't believe how 360 degrees this business was. There are so many things to account for, and the analogy I use is when I'm boxing, I'm worried about one person, the guy across from me, right? Paul said in wrestling, he has to worry about thousands of fans watching the action, with it being his job to make sure they have a good time. He also has to make sure that he successfully performs all of his moves, putting on a good physical performance as well as entertaining. It's like Broadway on steroids. Steroids. Like everyone in the WWE is so athletic and so talented in a different way that I never would have expected, and I find the mental part of WWE way more taxing than boxing. The interview was with Stephen A. Smith. He justified that there is, of course, an inherent toughness needed to be a boxer and to have the desire to kill someone in the ring. And then he wanted to say, but he feels that comes with the territory. And the hard part about boxing is then assembling a mental strategy to overcome the opponent. Paul said that this feels more instinctual to him. Any closing comments about this?
Not really, but he is correct about wrestling being more taxing than boxing because you're doing it every day. Well, I mean, not necessarily every day, but like some wrestlers wrestle multiple times in a week, so versus one boxing match every 5 to 6 months. Speaking of boxing, though, Logan Paul is going to have his next fight against Dylan Dennis, if I'm saying his name right. That should be. I think it's coming up in. If I remember seeing it, I think November, something like that. So.
Right. Yeah, well, and kind of piggyback off of what you just said. I mean, people can say whatever they want about wrestling. We already know how wrestling works. And it's like the argument's always been made. Like, imagine in the NFL if the day after the Super Bowl they just start the season instead of taking 4 or 5 months to start the new season. Not even 4 or 5 months, like 8 months. Like, they just literally start the new season after the Super Bowl. It's basically wrestling. Their Super Bowl is WrestleMania, and then the day after is like essentially their new season. So. Yeah, wrestling is more physically and mentally taxing than most sports because you're doing this shit like every day. So, yeah, there's no off season in wrestling, which there can be an argument. Maybe there should be an off season, but that's we've already crossed that bridge. But overall, that's all the news I have. What news do you have?
Oh wow. You missed a lot of news, brother. No worries, I got it. So this first story is coming from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes, they do have reputable reputation, so take this with a grain of salt, however, though. So say you're hearing that at least one creative force backstage wants WWE to wait for WrestleMania to do the first Uso brother versus brother match. However, that's unlikely at this point, I'm told, with the feeling that 35 weeks is too long of a stretch. Absolutely. What would you think, Drew, if they would have done that? 35 weeks build up until WrestleMania for Uso versus Uso.
It couldn't work. It just wouldn't work because, again, just different time. And, also it's just, I mean, the rumored, main event for SummerSlam, Survivor Series is, a fatal four-way with, the Usos and Roman and, the other Uso, Solo. So, I mean, the match is obviously, Jimmy and Jay is worthy of being a WrestleMania match just by the, the background of it and the drama. But it's like, it's not going to happen. There's no way in hell it's going to happen because it's like, how are you going to keep these two apart for the next, 8 months? Like, how are you going to make that work and have it be not just believable, but, be able to, work with the audience's patience or lack thereof. So, I don't see it happening. It just can't work.
I 100% agree. Okay, so moving on here, WrestleTix, very good reputable source for live up-to-date ticket numbers and things of that nature. This is for All In, for in Wembley, which is going to be on Sunday, August the 27th, which is, at this point, less than 3 weeks away. Available tickets left 4,702. The current setup is for 84,048. Tickets distributed is 79,346. So and it shows here that 1,601 are for resale. So, but currently right now, it is past the record for the SummerSlam '92 show. And I guess it's the biggest. It says biggest European record. So it seems like they're gonna hit at least 80,000 AEW for All In, and they're barely announcing matches now. But I don't think it's gonna get to 90,000. Some people say, "Oh, it's gonna get to past 90,000." Like, well, no, there's no way that's gonna happen. But good for Tony Khan and crew for AEW. Having a possibly the biggest wrestling event in London ever. So, So, prediction, Drew. Do you think that they will eclipse the 84,000? Do you think they'll get at least to 82,000 tickets sold?
Not if Lufisto has anything to do with it. No, I'm playing. I think at this point they're going to stay where they're at. I mean, they'll more than likely get, maybe a few more seats to fill, but I doubt they'll get to 90,000 or even 80,000. I think at best. I
mean, all they need is just less than 700 tickets.
Oh, then what the fuck do I know?
They're at 79,000 already. 79,346, but there's less than 700 tickets.
I don't know. When it's this late at night, math doesn't seem to work well for me. But I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna be nice and say yes. Why the fuck not?
All right. Yeah. 82,000. They'll get 80 for sure, but I don't know about 82. No, maybe we'll see. We'll see. All right, so X out of that. Okay, so next, I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. Kind of a big deal, a huge deal, actually. Roman Reigns is injured.
Yes, I forgot to bring that up. Fuck. Thank you for
Roman Reigns got hurt at SummerSlam, and this is coming from Dave Meltzer. And, we'll just kind of, go with the grain of salt with this one. But Roman Reigns got hurt in that match. I haven't watched the beginning of the match over and over again, but I heard it was relatively early. I don't know the nature of the injury. I just heard that he worked the match hurt. He got hurt early in the match.
I saw the clip.
And, I think it was off. I think it was off of that suicide dive that Jay did into like Roman's ribs. So it may be like a rib injury, but as of right now, too, as well. This is coming from Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp. As of right now, there aren't plans for Roman Reigns to miss his internally scheduled appearances, despite getting hurt at SummerSlam. So whatever the injury is, right? Obviously, maybe that could have done something with the match too as well. I don't know, but obviously it's not serious enough for anything to happen, like him dropping the title or anything like that. So,
no.
So the injury, although possibly may be serious, it's not serious enough for him to drop the title or anything like that. So,
no. For anyone that isn't familiar with the spot, so like Justin just mentioned, so there was a spot in the match where Jay goes for a suicide dive. Apparently, we had some good lip readers and online. Supposedly, Jay's yelling, Joe, get out of the way. That's Roman's real name, Joe, and he lands very awkwardly on Roman, and you just see Roman just kind of like holding his ribs and whispering something to Jay. So from the way it looks, it's ribs, and rib injuries are no joke, because
absolutely fucking not. It's not.
You can't breathe, you can barely eat, you have trouble sleeping. So
when you just move, it hurts.
Yep. So I mean, it's not going to be something that's again, Roman's not going to drop the title like at all. So personally, to me, I think they should just give Roman a little bit of time off just to heal. Like obviously have him show up and do appearances, but like I think at this point, the focus should be more on Jimmy and Jay, and just give Roman at least maybe like a month off, maybe like a half a month off. Just in my opinion, just let him heal. Don't let him do too much work. Just have him work at pay-per-views at best, and just limited shit. Just my opinion. But yeah, Roman ain't dropping shit. He's not going to drop until Mania, supposedly, allegedly. But yeah, I mean, just hopefully the Chief is doing fine. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely. All right, next here, again from Meltzer, about Brock Lesnar. Brock was originally advertised for one of the pay-per-views later this year, but he's not going to be on it. He's going to be gone for a while. No time soon, as far as next 4 months or something like that. He's not gonna be on anything at that point. So Brock, it looks like he's gonna be gone at least for the rest of the year, according to Meltzer. And I mean, to me, it's expected. I mean, it seems like Brock, leaves. After a certain time frame, it seems like after SummerSlam, he takes his 5-month break and comes back at Royal Rumble and go from there. So I don't really think this is I mean, it's news obviously, but I don't really think it's anything shocking. So
right. I mean, yeah, just again, Brock, just what else does he need to do? Like, just give him the rest of the year off, have him come back to the Rumble, have him do something at Mania. The rumor is that I think WrestleMania 41 is that they're trying to bring it to Minnesota, which is Brock's home state, hometown, and that he's thinking about retiring, in Minnesota at WrestleMania. So, which good ending to for Brock. Have him going at the Hall of Fame the night before, and then have him retire at Mania. Nice way to end a career, but. There's that, and supposedly Brock is advertised for Fastlane. So, again, what do you do with Brock at Fastlane? So, if you're going to do something for Brock, it needs to be something that's kind of worth his time. It needs to be a big opponent. But, personally, to me, give him the rest of the year off, let him come back at Rumble, and then rinse and repeat.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if he is a retirement at WrestleMania 41 in Minnesota, that'll be a good send off for sure. But yeah, Brock ain't gonna be here for the next few months, so there you go. Well, we got a few more news stories here. Do this one here first. We did talk about some injuries earlier, like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Well, another injury here, and obviously, if you watch Raw, you got an update on it. WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Sonya Deville tore her ACL during a tag team title defense versus Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair on the July 28th SmackDown. She'll undergo a procedure on, it already happened on this past Tuesday to fix the issue. There's currently no timetable for her return to the ring. I feel so bad for Sonya.
Me too.
Being in the company as long as she has, and being a all company gal, you know what I mean? And for this to happen to her really sucks. So I feel bad for Chelsea too. You know what I mean? Being that she just won her first title as well. So, but at the end of the day, to me, blessing in disguise, get rid of these fucking titles. Get rid of the titles. Get rid of the titles. Get rid of the titles. Why? Why are these titles still a thing? These titles were never relevant at all. Like, at all. At all. Like, if you would have told me how long, it's been around for like 4 or 5 years now, these titles. Like, if these titles would have came out 5 years ago, let's say we didn't have these titles, right? Will we miss this? No, we will not. What they should do is they should get rid of these titles and just create like a, I don't know, like an Intercontinental Championship or something, like a mid-card title for the women. I think that'll be better than these tag team titles. But these tag team titles are cursed. They are cursed. So but again, feel very bad for Sonya. Feel bad for Chelsea. Two women I adore on the women's roster, and the fact that that this happens to them when they win their very first titles is it's kind of a bummer to see. So, any thoughts or anything else on this here?
I mean, I echo your sentiments because I feel terrible because I like Sonya. I think Sonya, is one of the better women on the roster. And I like her. I think she's very underrated. And of course, I like Chelsea. We've all been on the Chelsea train of she's been one of the better, if not the best, wrestler returning under the Triple H regime. Because she has a character that people can invest in and that gets heat. Not to the extent of like Dom, but like it gets heat because she's playing a Karen. I think hers are more comical than Dom, but it still gets a reaction. And, Chelsea also happens to be very good in the ring. So I definitely feel bad for Chelsea as well. I think you can probably spin this negative into a positive. I hear a lot of ideas. One of the ideas could be like Chelsea could like hold tryouts to see who her next, partner can be. That seems like a very Chelsea thing to do. Also, same thing, just get rid of these belts. These belts are cursed. Like, nobody cares about these belts. Like you said, bring in... hold on. I don't think you guys feel bad enough to Chelsea. I mean, I honestly feel terrible for Chelsea because it's like her first title in the company and this shit happens. Same thing with Sonya. But I knew you were kidding. But, yeah, it does suck. I mean, bring in a mid-card title for the women's. I mean, just combine both women's championships. And if you want to have another title, just bring in a mid-card title. Bring in an Intercontinental title for the women, or call it the TV title. Television Women's Championship. I don't fucking know. But bring that in. But this does suck. I feel awful for Sonya. I honestly do. So, and it's been kind of a shitty deal for her in the past year and a half, 2 years. So, just a speedy recovery for Chelsea. Hopefully, we see her back, sooner than later.
Yeah. All right. Well, speedy recovery to I was gonna say Chelsea Green. I emotionally a speedy recovery for Chelsea Green, but speedy recovery to Sonya Deville for sure. Next story here, and I guess I can combine these two here. So, this one here is not necessarily confirmed, but maybe confirmed-ish. Kyrie seems to be on her way back to WWE. She announced, though, I believe on Monday, that she'll be taking a definite hiatus after her last matches in September to prepare for a new voyage. For now, her only dates are in All Japan and Sendai Girls, but it was said that there will be 2 more. And it seems like Kyrie is coming back to WWE. And it always seemed like there was that, even though Kyrie left, there always seemed that, that friendly, friendship with WWE. It never seemed like that Kyrie was, she definitely didn't leave on bad terms. This is like one of those situations where she left, went back to Japan, she went back to Stardom, did what she needed to do over there. She put over Mercedes, had a fucking great match in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, like potentially one of the best women's matches this year. Top 5 maybe best women's matches this year, and seems like she's going to be on her way back. I did not have that in my bingo card this year, so along with that, along with her, there's also, this is coming from PW Insider here, that there were rumblings over the last few days of a potential Nia Jax return. WWE return within the company. It hasn't been said that she's at Raw tonight. This says tonight. This is from Monday, but it says at least a few different sources noticed that her name had been mentioned as of late. Again, that's coming from PW Insider. So I will say this about both. Although I'd rather have one back over the other. Honestly, you don't even really. You don't have a women's division right now, but you're not even really booking the women that you do have right now. Where's Nikki Cross? Where's Indy Hartwell? Where's Candice LeRae? Even though we saw them both on Monday, there's a lot of women that's not even being utilized right now. But you want to bring back 2 women, although one's a former champion, the other one was a former tag team champion and former NXT champion, women's champion. To me, it's like, okay, you're gonna bring these women back. What you gonna do with them? Like, are you just gonna bring back Kyrie just to have her with Asuka and have the Kabuki Warriors back? Or are you actually gonna do something with Kyrie? Are you just gonna bring back Nia Jax just to be that the irresistible force again and not really have her be a main factor into anything? And Grant Nia Jax, she's in the best shape of her life. If you've seen her lately, she lost a lot of weight. She looks great. She looks fantastic, and that's very commendable. Being that I know people out there who are trying to lose weight, and you're probably looking at Nia Jax as a potential inspiration. So go on Nia Jax, but that does not mean that I want to see her back in the company. I'd rather see Kyrie, but at the same time as well, as you're bringing these women back and you got other women on the roster that you're not even utilizing either. So I don't know, Drew. What do you think about this here? Potentially Kyrie and Nia Jax coming back to WWE.
Well, I'll talk about Kyrie first because I like Kyrie. I've always liked Kyrie. You bring up an interesting point. It's your women's division is kind of in limbo at the moment where you don't even really know what to do with even your best women, so you're bringing in more women.
Yeah, exactly.
So granted, we did see a Candice LeRae sighting on Raw and a Indy Hartwell sighting. So, and also Triple H is back to running things, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, but for Kyrie, I'm excited to see her back. I think if anything, they're gonna bring her back and pair her with Asuka, which I can't complain because I like them as a tag team. Why not put them together? So we'll see. And also with the news of Chelsea and Sonya, so maybe they're gonna have a tournament, or hopefully in our cases they'll answer our prayers and just throw away those fucking titles, but I doubt it. So I'm excited to see Kyrie back because I want to see what she can do. As for Nia, my only reaction is I have zero interest in seeing Nia back. I mean, yeah, it's good news that she's in the best shape of her life. Whoop-de-doo. She's an asshole. She got released because she's an asshole. She hurt women. I have zero interest in seeing her back. I don't want to see her back. Nobody wanted. Everyone was happy that she got the shit beat out of her at the Rumble this past year. Unless she comes back with a new attitude. Unless she has a new attitude and she's not a complete a-hole, we'll see. But again, no interest in seeing Nia back. Just nothing. Don't want to see Nia ever again. Period.
All right. So, got one last news story here. Nick Aldis was backstage at Raw, apparently. Wasn't confirmed that he was officially back there, but that's what was being told, that Nick Aldis was backstage at Raw as an agent. Now, remember last week I kind of mentioned, I mentioned a story of Nick Aldis having a back injury, had to pull out of some events or whatnot. Maybe he does want to be an agent. If this is true, and he was backstage, because I didn't hear any fallout from his backstage, him being backstage, or if this is 100% true. If true, I think it may tie into the back injuries. I think he may want to quietly retire because of the back injuries. But I don't know. But very interesting. If he was backstage as an agent, and my biggest thing is that if he is in WWE now and he's backstage as an agent, that's a huge get for WWE as far as having someone with the knowledge and the experience of a Nick Aldis to be back there. And obviously, him and Cody is won't say close, but obviously, they have a history with each other. So I think that'll be pretty cool to see them maybe work together in that capacity. So, thoughts about Nick Aldis? Do you believe the rumor of him being backstage, or it was saying that he was in Minneapolis, but if he is going to be in WWE as an agent, how do you think that'll benefit for the talent backstage?
It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know Nick Aldis enough. Just seen his NWA stuff. Saw a little bit of his, well, not a little bit, but a lot of his, I just said NWA, TNA stuff, and Impact when he was, Magnus. So he seems like a very well educated and well spoken person that has a good mind for the business. So him being an agent, producer for the show, maybe it could be good. Maybe it could be bad. I don't know. I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. Robert Roode was, apparently a producer on SummerSlam. So, how much of the show he booked, I don't know. So, but Nick Aldis, it's back injuries, like I was mentioning about rib injuries. Back injuries are no joke either. You look at Jason Jordan had a neck injury, but back injuries, depending on the person, could keep him out for a while. Maybe even, permanently. So, I kind of hope it's not the case with Aldis, because, you look from now until Mania, you want Cody to do something, fucking throw Aldis in that mix. They have a history. You can bring that up, so that should be a pretty good match. And, Aldis seems like the kind of wrestler that Triple H likes. So, we'll see. But, him being involved in the company in any form or fashion, and like you just said, if the news comes out that he wanted to be a producer or an agent, cool. But I kind of hope it's not the case that he has to retire. So, but him being in the company helps. I like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the news that I had. I did had a game that I want us to try out and see how the How the viewers like it here and how the people here in Discord like it. So let me know whenever you're ready.
Let's play the game.
And that's what it is too. We're gonna guess Motorhead songs. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that'll be Triple H's favorite game. All right. So you're familiar with Mr. Jim Cornette, right? And his partner in crime, Brian Last, for their for their shows that they do, right? Correct.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you ever heard them do a segment or a feature where they say what they do what's called Guess the Program?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna guess a program here. We're gonna guess the pay-per-view.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna run down a card, and I just want you to guess the pay-per-view. So run down the card, and you'll be like, oh, that is the 2002 King of the Ring. All right. And for bonus points, if you want to go with the city that came out of, city and state, that'll be even cool as well. Nothing on the line, just for fun, all right? Just just to
a shot at the title. A shot at the title. But
shot the title. Shot the knowledge title. I don't know.
Nice.
But I'm gonna give you a free square on this first one. Okay, I have a few here, but I'll give you a free square on this first one here, and we'll go from there. So first match on the card here that I got for this pay-per-view event is the Intercontinental Championship match: Chris Jericho versus William Regal. Got a 6-man tag here of the Right to Censor of the Good Father, Val Venus, and Bull Buchanan versus Taz, the APA, and Farouk. Oh, I said the APA and Farouk. It is the APA, Farouk and Bradshaw. What the fuck am I talking about? The triple threat hardcore match for the WWF Hardcore Championship. Raven versus The Big Show versus Kane. A singles match for the WWE European Championship, Eddie Guerrero versus Test. A match between Chris Benoit, or Vacant, sorry, versus Kurt Angle. WWF Women's Championship of Ivory versus China. You have a street fight.
I don't mean to cut you off. Anyone in the chat, don't give me any hints. No hints, people.
Please. That defeats the purpose of all this here.
Continue.
Street fight between Shane McMahon and Mr. McMahon. TLC match for the WWF Tag Team Championship. You have the Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian. You have a gimmick battle royal. Of returning legends. Second to last match here, called main event. You have Triple H versus The Undertaker. And in your main event, no disqualification match for the WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock.
The Rock. All right.
You get one guess? One guess?
This is WrestleMania 17 in Houston.
Oh, wow. Who would have ever thought? I mean, God, I thought that was going to be the hardest one.
Well,
yes, it is.
Well, I mean, when you said Raven versus who was it, Kane and Big Show, I was like, all right, that's WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, no, this was a gimme. This was just to get our juices warmed here. So WrestleMania 17 from the Reliant Astrodome, and I'm so glad that piece of shit stadium was torn down in Houston, Texas. So.
Mish is like, you remember it because of Raven? I'm like, well, I mean, if you just started off with Steve Austin versus The Rock in a no holds bar or whatever match, I'm like, I mean, it's a dead giveaway. But like when you were starting off in the beginning of like Right to Censor versus Taz and APA, I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar. Sounds like a Mania. And then Jericho versus William Regal, I'm like, this definitely is a Mania, but which one? And then when you got to Raven versus Big Show and Kane for the hardcore title, I'm like, yep, that's definitely WrestleMania 17.
There you go. So that was a gimme. It only goes up from here. All right, so next pay-per-view event. Here we go. I'm not gonna. And by the way, I'm not gonna be doing any of the pre-show matches or anything like that. This will just be all main card matches. So first match in the main card for this one. This is a 6-man tag of the FBI of Johnny Stamboli and Chuck Palumbo and John Cena versus Rhino, Spanky, and Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Tag team match: Scott Steiner and Tess versus La Resistance.
Okay.
Ladder match for the WWF Tag Team Championship: Team Angle versus Tajiri and Eddie Guerrero. A Battle Royal for the vacant Intercontinental Championship. You have a Bikini Challenge of Sable versus Tori Wilson. You have a singles match, regular singles match, of Roddy Piper versus Mr. America. You have the World Heavyweight Championship match of Triple H versus Kevin Nash. Fatal 4-way for the WWE Women's Championship. Jazz versus Jacqueline versus Trish Stratus versus Victoria. And in your main event, a stretcher match for the WWE Championship. The Big Show versus...
Okay. This is Judgment Day 2003.
Oh, wow.
That
is correct. Judgment Day 2003. Would you happen to know the city? You have to guess.
Is it in the East Coast or the West Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast. Midwest?
East Coast?
Well, I mean, like in the East Coast is like there's Midwest and then there's like East and there's Northeast. So, like, which section of the East?
East Coast? I can't.
God damn.
Think the Midwest. It's definitely not the Midwest.
Okay. No hints, people. No hints in the chat. Well, I'm asking for hints, but no hints in the chat, people. Mid-Atlantic. And I'm making sure that my phone's not in my vicinity because I'm not gonna look. Fuck. I give up. Where was it?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Fuck. Okay. God damn it.
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, this is
all
fun.
right. Next one, we got 2 more here. Next one. This one had no pre-show matches. Okay. For the TNA X Division Championship.
Oh fuck.
Austin Aries versus Samoa Joe. Hernandez versus Kid Cash. Tag team match: Robbie E and Robbie T versus Devon and Garrett Bischoff. 3-way match to determine the number 1 contender for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Anderson versus Rob Van Dam. James Storm versus Crimson. Singles match for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Gail Kim versus Miss Tessmacher. A no disqualification match of Joseph Park versus Bully Ray. Co-main event for the TNA Tag Team Championship. You got Bad Influence of Kazarian Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. And the main event for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship: Sting versus Bobby Roode.
Oh god. Yeah, it's TNA, so I'm not gonna. Fuck. So it was Jeff Hardy and Mr. Anderson and earlier in a match, and Van Dam. So this is more than likely in 2010. It sounds like it was before Jeff turned heel and did the Antichrist of professional wrestling bit. So it was before Bound for Glory. God damn it. I'm just gonna guess. Was it Genesis?
What year?
2010.
Well, it's the wrong year and the wrong event. So it is Slammiversary 2012.
Yeah, I'm way off. Jesus Christ.
You want to guess the city?
God. Nashville.
That was a good guess. That was good. It's actually in Texas, Arlington, Texas. So.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but that was a good guess though, because obviously they had a lot of pay-per-views there in the Asylum. Yeah. All right, so last card here. Skipping all, Jesus Christ, this one had 4 pre-show matches, but we'll start from the match on the main card here. Tag team match of Supply and Demand, which is the Godfather and Val Venus versus Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown. The Headbangers versus the Oddities. In a singles match, you have Owen Hart versus Steve Blackman. 6-man tag team match, you have the Job Squad, Bob Holly, Scorpio, and Al Snow versus The Brood, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel. A striptease match, Jesus Christ, Goldust versus Jeff Jarrett. Tag team match for the WWF Tag Team Championship. You have the Corporation of Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock versus the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Second to last match here, co-main event for the WWF Championship. You have The Rock versus Mankind. And in your main event, Buried Alive match. For the right to compete in a match, I almost gave it away, kind of. In a match to come up, The Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Fuck me. Wait. You said the previous match was The Rock versus Mankind?
For the WWF Championship.
Okay. And the main event was a Buried Alive match with Taker and Austin.
Taker and Austin, yeah.
Oy. Okay. Okay. Was this before Mania?
No.
So this is after Mania?
After Mania.
Jesus Christ. Man, my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Was it... Was Taker still in the Ministry of Darkness, or was he doing the American Badass gimmick? Actually, no. You already answered my question.
That's way too much of a hint.
Okay, well, you kind of answered my question because you said the Ministry, the Corporation, was in a tag team title match. So this was during the Corporation era. So, you said after Mania, so I'm assuming this was 1999. Jesus Christ. Fuck it. Backlash?
What year?
99.
99. No, unfortunately. It is Rock Bottom.
Fuck!
1998. December 13th, 1998. I kind of hesitate if you said after Mania. It was after Mania, technically. But it wasn't, to me, I didn't really say before Mania because it wasn't the turn of the new year.
Well, I mean, anything in December is kind of vaguely close to the new year, but it's just, I do remember the pay-per-view, Rock Bottom. It was after Survivor Series when The Rock won the title in that tournament, and then he became Corporate Rock, and that was when they're beginning, the Mankind feud, and putting him over.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the Steve Austin and Taker match.
The Buried Alive match?
I don't remember that match at all.
Oh wow, I remember that like it was fucking yesterday. Yeah, but yep, that was it though. That's all I have for now. That's all I have for now.
That was fun.
Yeah. It's a little something different. You know.
Yeah, we should do that more. Cool. But all right, that is the show, people. We did we did 2 hours and 15 minutes, and that guess the card was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stressful, but it was a lot of fun. But
yeah. You can thank Brian Lass and Jim Cornette doing the guest the program. So which is if you haven't listened to it, I think they have like a whole omnibus about it on the YouTube channel. So you can listen to it, and it's fun listening to their cars, and you're trying to guess like the year as well, and especially for somebody like me who knows like wrestling history like from like the 60s and the 50s, and it's trying to put like 2 and 2 together with certain cards. So fun shit.
Yeah. Maybe I might try that on you on Saturday. You never know. But anyways, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. And this Saturday will be the Q&A. I think from now on we're just going to stick to doing only one Q&A show a month. Just primarily just so we can get more questions in. And it works out better that way. But if you haven't already, send in your questions. If you have, send some questions. If you want to send more, please. And just remember, make the questions fun. Just make them fun so we can all have fun. We always have fun with these Q&A shows. But thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to the Soup family, all our brethren. Thank you, Mish. Thank you, Andrew Karlik, who just had a show earlier, and I'll be on his show pretty soon. He had Jeff Lippman on, another friend of the show. And nice. Thank you, RJ. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Ruben Prime. And our other friends of the show. Thank you, John Draper and Breaking the Apocalypse, B Show, and Shaheen, who's made the artwork for the show. Yuck Nasty, who makes the music for the show. What else? Anyone I'm missing? If I'm forgetting names, please forgive me. And we will see you guys this Saturday, same time, same channel. And that's pretty much all we have, people. Justin, do you have any lasting quotes, comments you want to leave our listeners?
No. You guys don't want to find me on Instagram and all that stuff. But one last thing. It was kind of not really big news, but it's kind of big news like for people here in San Antonio. And so the Izzy girl, she's gonna have her first wrestling match, and it's gonna be big news coming out on Saturday. We're gonna be doing the podcast here, the Q&A on Saturday, but it's gonna be pretty cool to see, that the Izzy girl, the Bailey girl, is gonna have her first wrestling match here in San Antonio, so it's gonna be pretty cool.
Awesome. Look out for that, people. It's going to happen here in SA. So, it's a pretty historic moment, depending on who you are. But we are done, people. We'll see you this Saturday. And you should be seeing this episode up rather soon. I'll try to get it up as soon as possible. I'll try to get up as early as tomorrow. But anyways, guys, take care. See you Saturday, and be safe. Peace.
Peace.